Welcome to STEM Space, friends, and today we're talking about Artemis 1. This is also Space Friends is an extra part of Stem Cell Friends. First of all, what is Artemis 1? The Artemis mission prepares to return humans to the moon, but Artemis 1 will prepare that everything is ready so it's unmanned. Artemis 2, on the other hand, will be manned, but it won't land on the moon. Artemis 3 will land on the moon, and there's even an Artemis 4 possibly might be launching one day. Okay, now that we have a background what Artemis 1 is, which is a mission, but Artemis 1, just to let you know, is a rocket. Just like the Saturn V, which took the Apollo 11 to go to the moon, which landed on the moon, where Neil Armstrong made his famous words, "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Okay, back to Artemis. Artemis 1. Okay, Artemis 1 was launched. It's on the 16th of November 2022. Okay, let's look at Artemis at its launch. Artemis 1's journey will take a bit more than 25 days, but a bit less than 26. First of all, Artemis 1 will be rolled out on its launch pad, because its launch pad will roll it, going at a top speed of 1 mile per hour. Artemis 1 will be rolled. Okay, some final checks are performed before it launches in Florida, the Kennedy Space Center. Artemis 1 will be filled up entirely on sunrise of the launch day. As the core stage engines reach before that happens, water is put into the flame trench, which is stopping any problems from happening. Okay, and as the core stage engines reach maximum power, shock diamonds appear. Also, there's water in this part to dampen the impact. The flame trench is flooded with fire, and Artemis 1 launches. All arms holding Artemis down are retracted, like the arms on the launch pad. Here's Artemis, pretend. Here's Artemis, and here is the Apelica arms. These arms will be retracted when Artemis is ready. And when Artemis reaches its final power, these arms are retracted, so Artemis goes up. Because of its Newton's third law, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. When you fill up a balloon and let it go and it's not tied, the air rushes out one end, pushing the balloon in the opposite way. So this works for rockets because they push out their fuel in one end to get fast up. Okay. Artemis 1 launch. Okay. After all arms on the launch pad are retracted after that, Artemis 1 launches. At liftoff, Artemis 1 produces 8.8 million pounds of thrust and pushes Artemis 1, which weighs 6 million pounds and 32 stories tall, to orbit. Artemis 1 was pushed by 5 segment boosters and 4 liquid engines. Artemis 1 reaches maximum dynamic pressure only 1 minute 30 seconds, 90 seconds into the mission. Maximum dynamic pressure means at the time when the rocket structure is getting pushed by the most amounts of atmospheric pressure. Okay, now back there again. Very close to 2 minutes, 120 seconds into the mission, the solid boosters, which are the boosters on the side, they help them to get out of the atmosphere. will have used up all their fuel, and they safely fall off the rocket. But don't worry, they don't hurt anyone because they're safely dropped off the rocket in a good place where they won't crash into a landmass. Yes. Okay. Also, you might be wondering, why did they fall off? Well, it's because if you kept all the mass on the rocket, which remember weighs 6 million pounds, Artemis might not be able to do this for long. So its solid liquid boosters all drop off to make it easier for the other boosters to do this. Okay, now let's skip a 1 minute or 60 seconds to 3 minutes into launch. In the 30 minutes into the launch, the surface molecule failings fall off to make Artemis 1 lighter, because the failings are like here, and here's the spacecraft which is gonna transport them, just like Apollo, but just it looks different. And they fall off. And also, 40 seconds after that, the failing, which is not the failing, sorry. Oh yeah, also the failings fall off to make Artemis 1 lighter and to expose Orion's solar arrays. Let's just pause that for a minute. A bit. Well, what is Orion? Well, remember how Apollo was the space capsule? That carried Neil Armstrong and the other 12 astronauts to the moon? Well, Orion is the space capsule of Artemis. The space capsule is meant to carry the crew. Also, just to remind you, is that Artemis 1 does not have crew, just to make sure that everything is going to be okay. So Artemis 2 will be loaded up with the crew this time, and we'll do the flyby. And then it will come back to Earth. Okay, now back to the launch. Unpause it. Okay, now let's skip by 40 seconds where we paused, which was 3 minutes. Or 180 seconds. Okay, now 3 minutes and 40 seconds into the launch, or 220 seconds. All abort systems. The abort system also falls off, which is like the top part, that means now Orion is exposed like this. Here's Orion. It's like a bit of a cone shape, but just without the top, but just like a mini, like the top part of the cone was just part of the top part of the cone was taken off. Okay, back to the launch again. Okay, when Artemis reaches a desired velocity, the core stage engine, which is the part that which contains the liquid fuel, which continued the mission after the solid boosters fell off, shuts itself down, and it separates from Orion and the interim cryopropulsion stage. The interim cryopropulsion stage, as you might have already guessed, is the object that pushes Artemis. It's on some of the way. It's like here, and then Artemis is here. I mean, like Orion. It's not Artemis now. Artemis is just all those pieces is the entire rocket name. Let's stick with Orion now. Okay. Part 2, Artemis was 1 Orion. Okay. The Orion and the cryopropulsion state will orbit Earth. Along the way, Orion and the interim cryopropulsion stage will pass the altitude of the ISS. During this time, Orion's solar arrays are deployed. That means now the solar arrays are the solar panels. That means Orion does no longer need the battery power. It can now produce its own power. This will come in handy just to let you know that the interim cryopropulsion stage will eventually separate from it too. Okay, back to the mission of Artemis 1 in Orion. Okay, the solar arrays will be put in a specific position for the perigee raise maneuver. This maneuver will ensure that an Earth orbit and in the interim cryopropulsion stage will make the thrust to do this maneuver. Once this maneuver is complete, Orion systems are checked before doing the translunar injection, also known as the TLI maneuver. The TLI maneuver must be completed successfully to leave Earth orbit. The TLI burn is approximately 20 minutes, 1,800 seconds in duration, and increases Orion's velocity over 9,000 feet per second. After TLI maneuver is completed, Orion is committed to a lunar trajectory just 1.5 hours or 90 minutes or 5,400 seconds after launch. Once complete, Orion will separate from the interim cryopropulsion stage. Orion will separate from the interim cryopropulsion stage. As Artemis leaves from low Earth orbit, it will fly through the orbital debris, which is circling Earth, past the GPS satellites, past the satellites and geostations satellites, and through the Van Allen radiation belts, which is a belt of radiation. And now Artemis will be in the radiation of the sun, which is now deep space radiation. Okay. Orion is designed to navigate, communicate, and operate in this deep space environment. And that means after Artemis is finished going through the Van Allen radiation belt, Artemis will enter an outbound coast phase. That's where Artemis will navigate, communicate, and operate in the environment. They will coast to the moon. The coast to the moon will take approximately 4 days. As Orion approaches the moon, the service module will be used to perform a critical lunar gravity assist maneuver. What's a gravity assist maneuver? Oh, a gravity assist. Okay, this is just in a nutshell. A gravity assist maneuver is where it uses a gravity of a celestial object which has gravity, such as a planet, moon, or a star, or anything that has gravity to help it speed up. Another example, when New Horizons was speeding, it used Jupiter's gravity assist to make its way to Pluto. Another example, Voyager 1 used the gravity assist to make it from Jupiter to Saturn to outside the solar system, while Voyager 2 didn't do that. Instead, it just voyaged all the planets, all the gas giants. That's why Voyager 2 is the only planet, no, I mean like space probe to visit Uranus and Neptune because Voyager 1 sped out of the solar system without looking at them. Okay, back to Orion. Now, back to that maneuver, the gravity assist maneuver. The gravity assist maneuver will allow Orion to enter a distant retrograde orbit about the moon. In the closest to approach to the moon, Artemis will be 62 miles, 100 kilometers, close to the lunar, which is the name for the moon, lunar surface. Just a reminder, on Earth, 62 miles or 100 kilometers is the distance where scientists start classifying space, though the atmosphere continues. Okay. Along the way, Orion will get so far away from Earth. How far? Okay, let's take the ISS. It will be 1,000 times further away than the ISS. It will be 2,000. It will be over 200,000 miles away from Earth. Whoa. Okay, while that, some people on Earth will prepare for Orion's return, like the boats and the Navy divers, which collect in Orion when it splashes down. Okay, back to where Orion is right now. Okay. Okay. Now when Orion returns, it will use another lunar gravity assist and its engines and it uses its own power to leave the lunar orbit. The surface module will separate, which is like the part which has the solar panels attached to it. The surface module will separate from where the crew are meant to be in Artemis's one unmanned Orion. Okay. As Earth feels the surface module will separate from Orion as Earth fills the windows of Orion. After that, Orion's heat shield will be pointed into the direction of travel to prepare for entry to Earth's atmosphere. Orion will hit Earth's atmosphere traveling at a speed of 24,500 miles per hour. That's even faster than the speed of sound, which is 761 miles per hour. Orion's heat shield will protect Orion from temperatures of half of the temperature of the sun, which is 2,760 degrees Celsius, 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Because of atmospheric drag, it will help to slow down Artemis. But also, all the air is just rushing past it, causing it to heat up. Okay, Orion will continue to slow down, passing for the speed of sound and making a sonic boom. After that, lots of parachutes tested for this moment will deploy, slowing Artemis from the speed of Mach 2, 32 to 0 when it splashes down. Then Orion will splash down in the Pacific Ocean. Orion will have traveled 1.3 million miles. After that, Navy divers will check for hazards, and then a hook will be attached to Orion, and then it will be towed into a boat. And then Orion is back. There are just two more things that I want to say before. One, though this video is longer than 50 minutes, we've we've missed a few stuff, so it might be a good idea for you to go aboard. Also, I forgot to mention the date when Artemis splashes down in the Pacific Ocean, which is the 11th of December 2022. Also, Artemis and Orion are the names of gods. Just one more thing before signing off. Also, Artemis 1 will release CubeSats, which are satellites. We'll make a later video about them. Okay. Now signing off from Stem Cell Friends.